Welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're doing a recap and review of Married at First Sight season 12 episode 7, How Do You Know If You're in Love? Jacob and Haley. So if you're new here, hit the subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash that like button and also drop a comment down in the comment section below, because I do like to engage with my viewers and subscribers. So without further ado, let's jump into this video. So it is day 7 of the marriage and the honeymoon is over. Everybody's packing up their bags, going back home to Georgia. However, Haley and Jacob is not doing too well. Haley told the camera she had texted Jacob and that she'd be meeting the girls for a drink, and he allegedly blew up at her and accused her of having a boyfriend back home, which Haley noted was absolutely ridiculous because she had been single for 7 years. Haley was frustrated and she said she needed some space from Jacob, so she switched her seat on the plane to avoid him. Haley clearly was not looking forward to moving in with Jacob, and Jacob believed Haley had lied to him about the girls' outing to begin with. And Jacob's point of view was that multiple couples had gathered together for their last night in Vegas, and Haley had informed it would only be girls only so that he wouldn't join her. And I don't know if you guys watch Married at First Sight Unfiltered. She was on that episode before this one, and she goes into detail about that. So I'm going to do a video on that, so look out for that. So now everybody's back home in Atlanta, and the experts wanted the couples to move into apartment provided for them so they can be on equal footing. However, for Haley and Jacob, they didn't talk all day. And Jacob said Haley was acting like she was seen or dating someone else, which of course Haley said was so insulting. I've never felt energy just completely cut off. Just tell me you need a break. You didn't say that. You said it's a girls' night, and then it wasn't a girls' night, is what Jacob had told her. The cordial thing to do would be just to say, hey, we're hanging out. You want to come down? And you didn't do that. Those little white lies, as he called them, add up. And I had that situation in my past. So when you did that, it messed me up pretty good and I lost trust. Haley said, hey, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. She said that while she initially leaned into the process, she discovered things about Jacob that she didn't like as she got to know him a little bit better over the week. And Haley said that's why she started pulling away. She was insulted by him assuming that she was a liar. And he said, I didn't assume, you lied and you don't have accountability. And that's when we see Haley telling Jacob that, he was making her upset. He apologized. However, Jacob noted he was frustrated and didn't know how they were going to make this relationship work since he didn't seem to know the real Haley. We have completely different styles, and I told experts I don't do well with people who are high-strung, which is what he told her. You have eye anxiety. And she said, oh, I love how you diagnose my anxiety. And Haley said that she and Jacob were living in two different realities, and Jacob agreed, saying it was his reality, and then, of course, Haley's BS that she was bringing to the table. And then, of course, Jacob suggested that he and Haley probably won't be living in this apartment together very long. And, of course, we saw them just going back and forth. I see a lot of projection because he did mention something about the fact of his past. So, obviously, he didn't get over the things happening in his past. He needed to figure out a way to deal with that no matter what new relationship he into, because you don't want to make your current partner pay for somebody else's mistakes. So they slept in different beds on their first night in their new apartment. Haley admitted she felt drained, but Jacob had apologized for what he had said, and so there was a chance of them getting back on better terms and for something positive hopefully to come from this. I honestly think these two can work this out. I think whatever it is that he needs to deal with his hurt from previous relationships, he needs to deal with that. And at the same time, she's extremely reserved because for whatever fear that she hasn't been in a relationship in 7 years. So she's 28, I think, since she was 21 years old. So, they can figure it out. They just have to figure out a way to communicate effectively, respect each other's boundaries, and different things like that, and then work on whatever on themselves. So now Haley welcomed Jacob into her former place where she has lived for a year. And actually her place looked pretty nice. It looked like it's maybe like a townhome, I think it is. But Jacob came in and he thought it was really nice as well. They look like their energies are different now because they're smiling. I don't know if they're really good, but it seemed like they had a different energy at this point. This is where they both have animals. And so, the thing is that she has, I think there's 2 cats and 2 dogs in this situation. And she has a dog named Sophie. And, Haley says she was trying to be open-minded and, but did have reservations about moving forward. He's searching all through her closet. And she's looking at him like, okay, I don't know what you think I'm hiding. And, honestly, I think maybe he was looking to find some other dude or something somewhere. I don't know, but he really went through her closet. So, I just found that pretty interesting. But hey, I guess, it's one thing to just look at everything, but he went through her stuff. So then she gets to visit his home. Jacob revealed that he loves neon colors in his house and that he has an 80s vibe, especially when it comes to his decorating styles. And he pointed to some of the things that glows and the neon colors and everything. And yeah, she understood at this point that their styles were going to be pretty different. She just basically looked around. Even though he opened up, his closet and, he definitely gave her a grand tour of his house, she didn't really go through his things. And of course, she got to meet his pets, and I think she brought Sophie with her so they can kind of bond and, the pets can get to know each other. But it got a little crazy because I think Jacob's dog was not feeling Sophie. And it's pretty common. Dogs tend to have to warm up to other animals. But, the thing is that Jacob was glad that there's no tension. He hoped the dogs would get along. And then, of course, Haley acknowledged that her dog, Sophie, will always come first, no matter what in this situation. So this is when Pastor Cal decided to visit Jacob and Haley, and Haley told the cameras that she was going to give the relationship her best effort, although the couple itself wasn't in the best place. And so Haley acknowledged that she's not a physical touch person, which Jacob said it had been difficult for him because he desires hugs and kisses here or there. Jacob said that he wasn't sure whether Haley really liked him, and Haley admitted she got caught up in the process for the first few days, and then she began freaking out and pulling back because marriage had become too much for her and resulted in a blow up. She said, I've never had anybody assume so many things about me. I've never been in a situation where I could really get out the words and it's one accusation after the next, like I'm high strung, I got a boyfriend back home. And Jacob said he had been in several situations where women were using him as the person to cheat on with their boyfriends. And Haley said, she shut down after this result, but Pastor Cal, explained arguing, is not necessarily a sign that things are not working. Haley admitted she didn't love confrontation because she didn't want to hurt Jake's feelings, but Pastor Cal gave Haley permission to speak her voice. Haley confessed to Jacob that, she wasn't feeling a connection with him, and if there is a glimmer of hope for them, his behavior pushed her far from that. And, that's been really hard for her to deal with, she told Jacob. Jacob said things started off great in his mind between them, and so he felt a bit betrayed by the actions afterward. Haley also told Jacob that living in the 80s was a pretty big red flag for her, and all of the neon was too much for her. Jacob explained that he loved the vibe of that decade, but Pastor Cal reminded him that things change and his habits can be altered, so happy mediums can be found between them. Pastor Cal also noted it's okay for his wife to change his life and design new things in his life every now and then. And Jacob said, okay, I'm good with that. Pastor Cal asked the couple to drop their walls and attempt to get to know each other better. And Jacob looked forward to more communication and requested that Haley talk more and be open and honest with him. And then Jacob insisted he really wanted the relationship to work. Haley agreed with that, saying that she had signed up for Married at First Sight for a reason. So, with this particular couple, like I said earlier, I really think they could work that out. The issue that Jacob brought up, and I'm glad he brought that up with Pastor Cal and with Haley, is him being used by other women to cheat on guys with. Yeah, he needs to deal with that, because other than that, any other relationship after this point, whether they stay together or not, he's going to always assume that he's being used by a woman. So he needs to deal with that baggage that he's carrying in, because that's not fair to Haley. And on the flip side, Haley has to communicate with him what her needs are. He has to communicate that to her as well. And they have to come to a happy medium, as Pastor Cal said, in regards to their communication with each other. Because honestly, these two could probably be great together, and he has to be open to, looking at her style. I mean, the 80s were over 30 years ago. And I mean, it's a fun decade. I was a teenager myself in the 80s. However, this is 2021 and he's now married, and you're going to have to mesh the two lifestyles. Everything can't be in the house all 80s when she has a totally different lifestyle, and vice versa. Her lifestyle can't supersede his. So we'll see what happens with these two in the next episode, but it was pretty interesting with them. All right, so let's do our post notification shout out. If you want to be shouted out, comment down below. I will see you and shout you out. And for this episode, it goes to Cliff Washington. Thank you so much for your comment. I really appreciate your engagement in the channel. And until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon.